Thank you very much, everyone. Centuries ago, it was believed that the earth rests on the back of a giant turtle, and that turtle rests on the back of another turtle, which stands on the back of another turtle. And the endless queue of uncountable turtle keeps on going. Because of our inclination towards science and exploration, today we know that there are no turtles in the space. But is our knowledge complete? Are we better than the people who believed on the strong floating turtles in the space? Is this the complete truth? Or there is still something hidden? If you are curious and looking for the answers, look into the mirror, children, and you will find the person who can answer. You, each one of you. Renowned poet Sahir Ludhianvi penned down just the right words that would define the power of all you children hold to make a change we can believe in. बच्चों तुम तकदीर हो कल के हिंदुस्तान की, बापू के वरदान की, नेहरू के अरमान की. राष्ट्रीय Kishore Vaigyanik Sammelan, which is also known as Children's Science Congress, is a very important part of Indian Science Congress. Children's Science Congress has proved to be a unique event with a very clear focus on raising the bar on research and innovation in science in our country. Children can carry forward the spark of taking innovation and research to the next level. Today, we have gathered here for a very significant part of this event, which is Meet the Scientist session. We have two very eminent scientists amongst us who will share their thoughts with you all, and you will be given an opportunity to ask the questions at the end of each session. So, let me introduce the first speaker of the evening, Dr. Kannan Jegathala Krishnan. Dr. Kannan is a senior scientist and coordinator university education at the World Community Service Center. He received his Masters of Technology from Swinburne University, Melbourne, and Masters of Business Administration from Victoria University. He is a Doctor of Philosophy in Renewable Energy Resources in Victoria University. And you all will be interested to know that in his research work, he has refined Newton's theory of gravity and Einstein's theory of special relativity. He has published about 30 publications in peer-reviewed journals and delivered lectures during international conferences and guest lectures at about 55 institutions at Australia and abroad. Today, Dr. Kannan will be sharing his thoughts on the topic Dark Matter and Dark Energy refines Newton's theory of gravity, Einstein's theory of gravity, and Higgs boson. So it's my absolute honor to call upon the stage Dr. Kannan Jegathala Krishnan. Welcome him with a very big round of applause, everyone.
My salutations to my master Vedatri, my supervisor Satyamurthy Mahalingaya, and I know that you would have known our Union Science Minister, respected Honorable Harshvardhan sir. And next, if you see like our Vice Chancellor, Pro Chancellor Rashma Mittal, and I want this management, I was interacting since 2-3 months, and I was trying to see what personality they are when you're given at a higher level. So Rashma Mittal told she wanted to come to Australia, and I saw that she's a very good administrative person. In Australia, we have only one Prime Minister, Lady Prime Minister, she was Julia Gillard. The next Prime Minister will be only Rashma Mittal if she comes to Australia. And if you see our convener, Rajesh Shopti, and if you see, I didn't follow the cricket match recently, but I was following the third match. And even though now Virat Kohli is the cricket captain, I refer him to as cricket captain as Dhoni, not Virat Kohli, because the other person, the co-convener, Lalit Bala, told me, please tell me that I'm the captain of India. So he wants to be the captain and he wants to smash Australia. So finally, if you see, the Pandey, he was with me for last 2 days and is completely an emotional type. And I've seen him, and even our Vice Chancellor know that if every moment is getting emotionally, thinking something else and is getting scared. I told, don't worry about that. what personality you would like to be? He told, sir, let me be Salman Khan. I told, no, no, you're very short. Let me praise you as a Shahrukh Khan. So, not the last but the least, if you see the next speaker, the Vice Chancellor, and have you seen blind love? Have you heard about it? See, blind love means if you don't see the person, you love them. And he was waiting for me 1.5 hours in the airport without seeing me, so he loved me so much. Thank you very much, sir. So, and most importantly, I have to mention one particular person, and I take the opportunity to thank Pallava Bagla, the NDTV, and I met him 2 months before. Thank you, sir, for coming to my presentation. My brothers and sisters, let me start talking about some important new concepts. If you listen to my speech, you will get shocked that the whole physics is wrong. Let me start with the gravity. So we all know what is gravity. So when you take two balls, interaction between two balls is known as gravity. And Newton told, if you interact two bodies, that is, if the bigger object attracts the smaller ball. And if you put a ball towards the earth, what happens? It falls down and it goes down to the earth. The earth is pulling. And actually, when scientists were asking, what is gravitational repulsive force? Newton puzzles to answer that because he was not able to understand what is gravitational repulsive force. For example, let us take the sun, and all the planets are there. If sun is pulling all the planets because the sun is bigger and larger, and the scientists were asking him, we have many satellites which is 1,000 times bigger than the sun. Then why can't that particular satellite pull the sun? Make sense? So if this is true, the bigger satellite has to pull the sun. So he was not able to understand. He was puzzled. He can't answer. But luckily, his calculations are perfect. So I made a statement. There is no problem in the experimental physics at all. The problem is only in the theoretical physics. That means the scientists have failed to interrupt the experiments in a right way. This is one of my probe. I wrote this probe last night. It is not many days old. Just last night, I wrote this proverb. And when there was a conference, same conference, let us assume here, Sir Pallava Bagla is the chairman of the conference. Newton was talking in a conference. When the ball is falling down, it is gravity. Then actually Newton is a philosopher. He is a very honest person. And he makes this comment, and Pallava Bagla says, because he is the chairman, yes, Newton, you are right. And Newton goes back to his place and he makes a comment, you sometimes speak about gravity as essential and inherent to matter. Pray do not ascribe the notion to me, for the cause I do not pretend to know what gravity is. He makes very clear. And you can Google now, and you will have these 4 letters. And if you Google EMRP, gravity push theory, all his 4 letters are in the internet. And after that, he makes a clear statement. I am a small child playing with pebbles and marbles, but the whole ocean is lying in front of me. And he makes a very clear statement that he don't know much about what is gravity. Why gravity came, you have to understand. Actually, first was Aristotle. He is the grandfather of the science. He told Earth is in the center and all the planets are moving, sun is moving around the Earth. And after that, Ptolemy made a more accurate measurements. Then after Nicholas Copernicus came, he made a statement that it's not the Earth is in the middle. He told sun is in the middle. And nobody believed it. It took so many times. They made him a fool. And after that, Nicholas, again another scientist came, Tycho Brahe. He made a very great precision measurements, but he didn't complete it. He appointed Johannes Kepler, the planet who gave the 3 laws for the planetary motions. And his first law was the planets are moving under elliptical path. But you can go and search the physics. He don't know why it is going in elliptical path. He made 3 laws, but he didn't understand why planets are making the elliptical path. Now I am here to tell why it is making the planets are making into elliptical path. Then only Newton was looking at this theory, and he want to try to know what is the reason. He gave the gravity, and the gravity, there is no gravity at all. I will make you in a simple example to understand what is gravity. See, we have Earth. I am talking in terms of layman because there are many students. I'll be talking technically tomorrow in the other academic session, but I want to make the students understand. I am giving many layman examples. We have Earth. The Sun is 333,000 times bigger than the Earth. Tell me, my friends, is Earth heavier or Sun heavier? Sun is heavier. And recently, we have an experiment, a satellite we have launched, and we got the results that in the universe, there are only 4.6 objects, and 95% only space, empty space. And every planet are floating on the space. Is Lord Krishna is holding the earth? Is Lord Jesus is holding the earth? Or you or me? Nobody is holding the earth. He's floating on the space. If that is true, now assume we have earth, we have sun, and we have millions and millions of planets, which is only 4.6%, and remaining all the planets, remaining all empty space. Right? Now which is heavier? Is earth heavier, sun heavier, or space heavier? Thank you very much. So now you proved that I didn't tell wrong, you told exactly Newton was wrong. If space is heavier, for example, I am standing in the middle. There are 3 people standing around me. 5 people making the second circle, 7 people making third circle, and so forth. Let us have 50 to 100 circles. If everyone are pushing me equally from all directions, what will happen to me? I will get crushed, isn't it? I will get squeezed, and I will try to escape to breathe. Am I expelling myself, or am I forced to expel? Am I expelling myself, or I am forced to expel? I am forced to expel. If this is true, now tell me, planets are moving or forced to move? Why it is forced to move? Because the space is compressing on all 360-degree angles and direction. That is why it is forced to move. Did we have any year 500 days? Did we have any year 200 days? No. We have 365.25 days equally every year. We experimentally, it is proved, we are coming to the 218 years. We completed 217 years, right? So what is happening? For example, I take this ball. If I push the ball in the front, the ball will go forward. If I push the ball to the left, it goes to the left. If I push the ball to the right, it goes to the right. If I push the ball to the front, it comes to the front. That means wherever I apply more force, the ball has to go to the direction. But what happens to the earth? Because the space is compressing the earth equally in all direction, 360-degree in angle. Okay? If the force is more, it will go to one direction. So what happens? It is moving in the same path, elliptical path, without changing the polarity. So now tell me, it is pushed on all directions, or it has been pulled from the center? It is pushed from all directions. This is known as the quality of the space. The quality of the space is self-compressive surrounding pressure force. It is compressing itself. For example, if you take a wet cloth and if you squeeze it, what will happen? All the water droplets will come out. This is the quality. This Newton didn't understand. This Einstein didn't understand. Einstein made a big blunder. Even though he's a genius, I'm telling, he made a big blunder. He was guiding the world in a very, very wrong way. And if you see today, I have completely refined all the theories of Einstein, and I will explain one by one. Now you know very exactly what is Newton's theory, and now let us see what is Einstein told. What happens, what made Einstein to think about gravity was, if Newton's gravity is true, in an instantaneous time, if the sun collapses or sun dies, the earth will move immediately. The earth will move immediately in a different direction because the sun is pulling the earth, isn't it? Pulling all the objects. That is what Newton's gravity. Einstein was thinking, nothing can travel faster than the light. Even the gravity travels at the speed of light. So it takes 8 minutes for the light to reach the earth from the sun. So only after 8 minutes, the earth will understand that there is no light. So what he was thinking is, the earth will go around 8 minutes, then only it will change its path. So he thought there is some problem there. Then what he made, he took a fabric. And if you take a cloth and if you put a fabric, if you put a ball in the middle, what will happen? There will be a bend in the space-time. Okay? Actually, there is no bend in space-time at all. He didn't even understand. And the experiment actually was helping him. Arthur Eddington want to see whether there is a space in the bend time, and he is doing an experiment. He is taking the telescope and is viewing the solar eclipse. What happens during solar eclipse? The moon comes in the middle. When the sunlight is hitting the earth, the light is bending. Overnight, Einstein became hero. Actually, it's not because of that. I will explain in a minute why is that. Now tell me, for example, to push this ball, I need energy, isn't it? To push this ball, I need energy. Without energy, I can push the ball. It's highly impossible. And Einstein told E is equal to mc squared. Energy is equal to mass into speed of the light squared. Everyone agree, isn't it? Everyone learned this equation. If E is equal to mc squared is right, actually how he predicted was, he took a element, uranium-238. The uranium-238 disintegrate and becomes smaller elements. It becomes thorium-234, and the alpha particle is emitted, and also there is a 0.0046 unit of mass is missing. So what he decided is, see, for example, if I'm 100 kg, you cut me into 2 pieces. So if you again weigh me in a separate weight, 2 pieces must be 50-50, isn't it? Again it has to be 100 kgs. But 0.0046 units of mass is missing in his calculation when the uranium is decayed into other elements. So what Einstein told was, the mass is converted into energy and it is traveling at the speed of light. That's why he added c squared. Okay? See, you have to understand, he didn't even understand what is energy. So just to move this particular ball, I need energy. Just imagine, have you heard that earth stopped for a second? Whenever you drive a car, you can apply a brake. The earth will stop, isn't it? The car will stop. Have you heard that the earth stopped for a second? So if earth is not stopping, not only earth, all the satellite stars, the galaxies are constantly moving without stopping. So how much of energy is required to move it? Inexhaustible stock force is required, isn't it? So that means, for example, if you keep your hand for a few seconds, then automatically your hand will be paining. Just imagine to make the planet's Earth move continuously. So what is energy here? Space is energy, isn't it? Space is nothing but energy. The quality of the space is self-compressive surrounding pressure force. The scientists didn't still understand the quality of the space is the dark matter. The dark matter, I'm not going to explain in detail because you will not be able to understand for the students, but still I will explain in a short way so you will understand it. So, when the earth is pushing the earth, right, the space is pushing in all direction, and because of that the earth is moving in the constant path. So for example, you take a stone wheel and you have a knife, you want to sharpen the knife. When you want to sharpen the knife, what will happen? Automatically when you want to sharpen the knife, if you bring the knife towards the stone wheel and you can see a spark, right, emitting. What happens for the spark? Within a fraction of a second, the spark is missing. What happened to the spark? Einstein says light never dies. Nothing can travel faster than the light. If light never dies, what happened to the spark? It dissolves and dissipates with the space. For example, there is a light there. And see, here there is dark. When the light at the particular bulb, the intensity of the light is high. When it approaches me towards me, when the distance is more and more, it becomes dimmer, 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 isn't it? So what makes it to become dimmer and dimmer? If light never dies, if nothing can travel faster than light, why the light becomes dimmer and dimmer. So what is forcing them to become dimmer and dimmer? There is some force must be forcing them to become dimmer. So what actually happens light is, it becomes dimmer and it becomes merges with the space. So definitely E is equal to mc squared. C is nothing but constant. Nothing can travel faster than light. So completely it is wrong. So what happens, I will tell what is the right equation. Before that, so now I want to clearly mention this. During the 105th Indian National Congress last year, our Honorable Union Science Minister, that is why I am here today, made a comment that Stephen Hawking told, everyone know about Stephen Hawking, isn't it? Stephen Hawking told that Vedas have a better equation than Einstein's equation. And there was many scientists were against our Union Science Minister. And I saw all the media, I saw the news. Actually what happened, I'm telling at 5 minutes, I want to tell the story, then I will continue. ED is equal to mw squared was predicted by me and derived since during the year 2015. I have published a paper in 2015. During the year 2015 December, I wrote my first letter attaching the paper to our Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Narendra Modi, he was very fine. He has sent my paper to Ayush by mistake. Ayush sent me a letter, 2 letters, contacting me that you have sent your paper to the wrong area, send to the right area. Then I communicated, I have all the records. Our NDTV, our journalist, senior most journalist here, science writer, I will give all the records to him anytime if he requests me. So then what happened? I told them, can you please forward that to the Science and Technology Department? And they never forwarded it. Then I really got upset. I thought, India is not helping me. Let me start doing this. I sent my paper to 40 countries, prime ministers and presidents of the world, and attaching my paper, and I've sent everywhere. Then after that, still I got some responses from few countries, but not from India. But after getting only acknowledgement I didn't get any other letter. So then I started thinking about it, what to do. Then I decided this is not the way to do. I attached my paper. Then I contacted every vice chancellor, the top 400 universities, and I've sent my paper to everyone and a copy to all the physicists and electrical engineers. While doing that, during the month of July 2017, I sent multiple emails to Stephen Hawking, and if you can see here, this is the first email I've sent to Stephen Hawking at 11:05 p.m. on 15th of May 2017. And I made very clear here, if you see the statement here, important note, I have read your theory on black holes, it is not correct, and it is a misleading information regarding black holes. I kindly ask your good self to think about dark matter, where I named dark matter as Vethon, which is defined as self-compressive surrounding pressure force. You might get the answer for black holes, which is named as Kannan. I named the black holes as Kannan, and I told, once you understand what is dark matter, you will understand what is black holes, you're misleading the world. And even after, if you see here, the email has been sent to, not only for Stephen Hawking, I selected 40 countries, and I've selected one of the top physicists in every country. I've sent a copy to them too. And at 11:10, again I've sent another email to Stephen Hawking, and again a multiple scientist from different countries. I selected from every country one scientist. And again, if you see here, Vice Chancellor of Cambridge University, Cambridge, on 21st of January 2018. And if you see the next email, and if you see here very clearly, this person, Professor Volker Heinz, he replied me that I am sorry, but I don't know anything about the subject. For example, if I am sending an email to Lovely Professional University to all the staffs, and if one staff, if Rajesh Sopti is replying me, okay, that means the next person, Lalit Bala, got the email, isn't it? The 2 people are replying me. And do you think that they would have not discussed that they got an email? If anyone talking about Newton is wrong, Einstein wrong, they don't think they are stupid, isn't it? Definitely that they saw that a mad person is emailing me like, look, what he's talking about. And I was criticized as a mad person for not 1 or 2 years, for 3 years. Okay? So this is, see, I don't worry about whatever the people or whatever they're commenting negative about me, because I know what is the fact, I know what is the truth. I want to reveal the truth. I have the capacity to withstand any pressure, any negative comments from anyone. I will never change my mind, because this is the fact. And then this person is giving me that I don't know anything about the subject. And for example, if Lalit Bagla is the friend of Sopti, do you think Sopti don't have any other people to talk at all? What the Telegraph, what they made is, they sent an email to one of the person and they asked him, did really Stephen Hawking told this? One of his friend told no. Do you think Stephen Hawking will talking with only one person? He would have talked with his family. He would have talked with any other friends. He would have studied the paper. He would have thought this is a better equation than Einstein equation. But our minister didn't tell there is a written record. He told only record, verbal record. Nowhere in the paper he clearly mentioned that there is a written record. He told you find the source. Immediately within 3 days of time, I started sending all the information to all the Telegraph people. And look, I've sent this paper on to our Union Minister on 14th of February 2018. And when our minister commented on last year's Indian Science Congress, which was held on 16th to 20, and Stephen Hawking died on 14th of last year, 2017. So now you understood the space is compressing, isn't it? You made very clear. Now tell me, if I give you a moon and a sun, right? There is a moon and a sun. The energy of the space is equal. Which one the space can compress easily, quickly, tell me? Moon or sun? How many people agree with moon? Can you please raise your hands? The energy is the same. Which the space can crush easily? If I give you a plastic ball and a cricket ball, which one you can squeeze easily? Plastic ball, right? So the space can squeeze only the moon, isn't it, easily? How come a bigger star dies and that will become black holes? It make any sense? In my view, there is no such satellite dies at all. A big satellite will never die. Even the moon will never die. I will explain in a minute. So I want to end up this. Today I am here to present that I am the source of our Honorable Union Science Minister. He didn't make any rubbish comment. He is not a fool. He is leading the India Science and Technology Minister. So the scientists have to understand that there is something behind it. And you can't criticize it. I called all the Indian scientists and fired all the Indian scientists. I don't want to name them. I have all the copies I can send to everyone. So now purposely why I have done this? If the world map upside down, the reason behind keeping the world map upside down is the experimental physics is 100% perfect, but the theoretical physics is completely upside down. So we have to change this physics upside down. We have to start from the space, not from the proton and electron base. If you want to understand dark matter, that is why the reason today, if Einstein's theory is correct, why it is not compatible with quantum mechanics? Why quantum mechanics and relativity are not compatible? Why they incompatible? If Einstein equation is correct, if Einstein's theory is correct, why can't he give an answer for double slit experiment? Why he was not able to give answer for quantum entanglement, where I can give answer for all the experiments? And my theory sits with every experiment, and if you verify it, this is the best theory, you will get it. I am telling you right now, in this 21st century, the super standard model will rule the world. There will be only one model, which is named as the super standard model, which is also known as Vethon model of the universe. This will be the only one model. The modern physics will be completely destroyed. Whether you like it or not, see, I am very bold and brave. I think beyond my present, and I give the noble truth without any fear and compromise. And if you see the next, this is what I want to talk about: dark matter, dark energy, mass. There is no a definition for the mass today. We don't know what is cosmological movement of the universe. The definition of the climate change is wrong. You will understand shortly. And look, there is no answer for quantum entangled experiment. I named in superstandard model. In future, that will be called as Veda Satyam experiment. We already, in next few years, we are going to launch the third LIGO experiment in India. Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, by his presence, and he approved it, and gravitational waves, the current understanding of the theory is wrong. So I will explain why it is wrong. And that will be named as, instead of gravitational waves, that will be named as Narendra Modi waves. And if you see the next one, gravitational lensing effect, that is the solar eclipse. That experiment I will explain, that will be called as Harshvardhan effect, because he was the person who made a big change. If any changes comes in the future, that is only Harshvardhan, our Honorable Union Minister, will be responsible. Please note it down, my words right now. In India, we all love Abdul Kalam, isn't it? He's one of the greatest genius, right? Take my note. Harshvardhan will be more popular and more greater than Abdul Kalam. Please note it down. Our NDTV is there. Please record my calls. So he will be more popular in the world. And next, the double slit experiment. I kept the experiment as NAB Kannan experiment. These four, not only these four, there are a few more experiments. I'm writing theory. The theory, understanding of the theory is wrong. This was when I was in Pakistan. I gave my speech in Pakistan. So I was given VVIP protocol. Now I don't want to take much time. I want to come to the point. This is what Einstein told. When there is an object, the space makes a bend. The space makes a bend in the space-time. So what he told, there is gravity, there is no force. When Newton told this is a force, for example, if you take a ball and tie a string, and if you keep on rotating, what will happen? The ball will be rotating. Why it is rotating? Because it is tied with a string, right? The string acts as a gravitational force. Then because of the same example, when Einstein thought, when the sun collapses, immediately, instantly the earth will move. So, but it has to take 8 minutes for the light to pass the earth. So 8 minutes the earth has to go around again in the circle. So it is not possible. Then only he decided that there may be a bend in the space-time. He made space-time matter energy, space-time, and he thought that there was a bend. Actually, there is no bend at all. The simple concept is why planets are moving, because of the space is compressing the planets, every planet itself. And that is why there is a bend. So what happened? Next, Vethon. This is what Vethon, he discovered, I didn't discover the quality of the space as self-compressive force. He is my master. He discovered the quality of the space as unified force, which is defined as self-compressive surrounding pressure force. See here, what happens? This is space. Einstein told mass is acting on the space, but he forgot to understand space is acting on the mass. If you see here next, the space is acting on the mass. When the space is acting on the mass, see very clearly, look, the space is acting compressing. And if you can see, the repulsive force, this is not, for example, a repulsive force because of the friction between the space and the object moving, a repulsive force is generated, right? And then, but the repulsive force is very small. See, the same self-compressive force is compressing the object, and when the object is moving elliptical path, some repulsive force is emitted, right? And this is constantly emitted. The only way for the repulsive force to stop is because only when the planet or any object stops. Is it possible that the earth will stop? Is it possible the sun will stop? The galaxy will not stop. What happens is, so for example, I am standing here, a 1-month baby is trying to cross me. Is it possible? So I am very strong. Only like, for example, a stronger person then comes and hit me, he can cross me. But the self-compressive force is strongest. Because of that compressive force, only the planets, see, the self-compressive force have so much of energy to make the planets move. Because of that friction between the space, you emitting a negative repulsive force is emitted. That repulsive force is nothing but W. That repulsive force is nothing but W. You can see here. So energy is equal to mass into repulsive force. This repulsive force acts as 5 different events, and one of the event is light. And repulsive force is not constant at all. In my theory, light is also not constant. Repulsive force is not constant at all. It varies. Towards the object, the repulsive force will be more. Away from the object, the repulsive force will be less. At one stage, the repulsive force will become 0 and merges with the space. Okay? So, now I will give another example to make you understand. When I'm having this, let us talk about climate change. A simple example. So now, for example, what is global warming? When the sunlight is hitting the earth and going back, right? When the sunlight is hitting and going back, because of the man-made greenhouse gases, the earth is completely surrounded by carbon dioxide gases. So what happens? The carbon dioxide gases trap the sunlight and makes the earth warmer. For example, when you make a cup of tea, if you put 1 cup of water, initially when it's heated up, the volume increases, isn't it? Only after some time it becomes steam and evaporates. But initially what happens? The volume increases. So tell me, for example, if I don't give a force, will there be any impact? If I don't push a person, will there be any impact? There must be some force to have an impact. Without force, there is no impact at all. And for example, I am taking a rubber ball. If I crush the rubber ball, what will happen to the ball? Wherever there is a gap, it will bulge, isn't it? Wherever there is a gap, it will bulge. If there is no gap, what will happen? It will not bulge. So, for example, today I am standing here. After 3 months, I will be here. In 6 months, I am here. And if you see the earth, 3/4 of water and 1/4 of land. If there is a gap, if there is a space, the water has to take a different position, isn't it? The water has to take a different position. It can't be like a global shape. If Newton is true, if there is a gravitational force is true, when we have tons and tons of building, when we have 1,000 meters of building, when we have mountains, when the gravity can pull thousands, tons of kgs of buildings and mountains at very high level, why can't the gravitational force pull 1 or 2 mm of water every year? How much water is increasing? Only 1 or 2 mm, isn't it? So why can't that pull that 1 to mm water? Why the water is coming to the land? When the water level increases, what is happening here is, when the water level is trying to increase, the space is acting on the mass because there is no gap. Space is inexhaustible, tremendous force. And the water level is trying to escape, but the self-compressive force pushes the water. That is why we get tsunami. That is why we get floods. Without a force, there can't be any impact at all. So what happened during 2011, I went to a conference and I was a PhD student during that time. And there was a CEO, a lady, she was giving a talk and I was sitting in the first line because I already prepared to do something with her. And she gave a climate change lecture and there was a conference hall was like in stairs. And the person came to me to give when I raised my hand for the first question, the person came to give the mic to me. When I got the mic, I pushed him down. Purposely, I pushed him down, everyone looking at me. Then I took him and I told, I'm very sorry. The reason I pushed you because I want to ask my question is based upon this. Then I told you're talking about global warming. Can you please tell me the definition? Is there a impact will happen without a force? So she was not able to answer. Then I asked my second question. US gave a big project to Australia during the time of Julia Gillard. She was the lady prime minister. And Australia got the project and they started the project. And I asked them, see, geosequestration means all the carbon dioxide gases you collect them and you put inside the earth or inside water. And for putting inside the carbon dioxide inside the earth or inside water, what will happen is you have to keep monitoring it. You must not have any leakage. 24 hours somebody have to keep monitoring. What will happen if you have an earthquake? Can you stop the earthquake? Is it possible to stop the earthquake? And already we have an evidence in Lake Nayas, 1700 people died because of a very small earthquake. So I mentioned this. So why did our Prime Minister take this project? And she got insulted. And the same day, they called me. Two of our managers came to me. They called me, and then actually I started at 5:10. I hope I can take another 20-25 minutes. Sorry about that. So what happened was, and the managers came to me and told me that you have to apologize, sir. I told, okay, I will come. And they called me for the first day meeting in the evening 6 o'clock. And both were lady managers, and COA came there, and they told that he has come to apologize you. I told fine, and they gave me a cup of water. I went inside, and after getting the water, I told, look, I didn't come to apologize you. Your managers invited me to come and apologize you. I told, you may be a CEO, I don't mind. I'm a student. Doesn't mean that the student have not knowledge at all. I am very strong in my concept that I am correct. So I will not apologize you. And I told, thank you, and I went. And I told her, never underestimate anyone. The knowledge what we know is size of the palm. The knowledge what we don't know is the size of the universe. So I told them very clearly. So, and next day, they sent an email to my professor telling that he has to be sacked from the university. And my professor supervisor asked me, still I have kept the records. He asked me, can you write a letter immediately within 5 minutes? I am mentally retarded. So I wrote an email, and I survived now. My professor was not against me. He wanted to help me. He told, write an email that you mentally retarded. So I was retarded, and I was called as a mad person for 3 years. So I'm not worried about that, because I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to guide the world in the right direction. And if you see here, see, this is what happens. Actually what happens, see, when the space is pushing the earth, I told you the repulsive force is coming, isn't it? If the earth is keep on moving, every planet is moving. If every planet are moving, repulsive force is generated. What actually happens here, from the sun when the light is coming, due to the distance, the repulsive force intensity decreases. When the repulsive force intensity decreases towards the moon, very near to the moon's intensity of repulsive force is very high. So it has to bend. It can't come straight. And self-compressive force is the strongest in all. And repulsive force cannot go straight. So overnight, Eddington made a big mistake, but I love him today because this experiment will favor me, not Einstein. There is no bend in space-time. E is equal to mw squared. W is repulsive force. Every object towards the object, it is emitting repulsive force. When the light intensity travels for a longer distance, that means it cannot cross the high intensity waves, repulsive force. So it has to deviate and go. A simple example is if I am standing, a baby can't straight come and push me. If you want to cross me, the baby has to deviate. As distance increases, the repulsive force reduces its intensity, and at one stage it becomes 0. So E is equal to mw squared. That is why I kept this experiment, which is gravitational lensing experiment, as Harshvardhan effect, Harshvardhan experiment. In future this will be called as Harshvardhan effect. This will not support Einstein at all. If this supports Einstein, why Einstein can't give the answer for double slit experiment? Why Einstein can't give answer for quantum entangled experiment? Why his theory is not incompatible with quantum mechanics? So why is that? And why quantum mechanics theory is not compatible with relativity? What Stephen Hawking has done 40 years, what did he do? We recognized him as a leading scientist. I can come to the media and give a comment. 40 years he has done nothing. Black holes was discovered by Einstein, not by Stephen Hawking. Why Stephen Hawking got famous? Because when a black hole is created, they have to know how it is destroyed. In this theory, it is highly impossible. In my theory, it is very clear. I can explain in 1 second. Even a layman can understand how that black hole will get destroyed. So that is why I made a clear statement that you're misleading the world. I sent him multiple emails to him. Maybe he would have understood. I'm not commenting this. Maybe once he would have known and his mind would have stopped. I don't know. So that may be a reason also. I'm not giving any negative comment. So this was the day Einstein became overnight hero. So if you see here, now let us start a little bit. I don't have time. Within 5 minutes, I want to talk about the standard model. Now you all know atom, isn't it? Quantum mechanics means studying about an atom and smaller objects. Inside, what is there in the atom? We have protons, we have neutrons, we have electrons. Still, science didn't understand that inside proton we have 3 quarks, and inside neutron there are 3 quarks. So I was the first person to discover there are 3 electrons inside protons and there are 3 electrons inside neutrons. This is a proton. See here, this proton, 99% of the proton is empty space. There is nothing inside. And all these 3 quarks is only 1%. And you know that, let us assume there is no earth, there is no object, there is only one proton. If you know that one proton is there, the space is compressing, isn't it? Whether earth or whether sun, whether small object, the space is compressing, isn't it? When it's compressing, this will keep on moving in elliptical path, right? See, every color, this is what the repulsive force, because the black is compressing. See, the repulsive force becomes dimmer, dimmer, dimmer and merges back to 0. It becomes again dark matter. The volume occupied in space by repulsive force and self-compressive force is known as dark energy. Nobody knows that. This is the first definition I'm giving for dark energy. So when the repulsive force becomes 0, when this particular object is moving, right? What happens? I gave an example. If I'm in the middle, if I'm crushed by everyone, I try to expel, right? So this is nothing but, the middle mass is nothing but a part of space. Because it's expelled, it is moving, the repulsive force is generated, right? And if this is black and this is black, it's a fraction, tiny fraction of the same self-compressive force, same space. Then what is the remaining there? Only repulsive force, isn't it? Can you understand what I'm trying to tell? This is completely dark, and in proton there are only 1% of quarks and 99% is empty space. The empty space is compressing the quarks, and the quarks are rotating. Because of the friction, there is repulsive force generated, right? Repulsive force are nothing but electrons. When the intensity of the repulsive force is more, it is electron, and the electrons, when travel further, it becomes light. Light and electron are nothing but both repulsive force. Scientists still didn't understand what is happening here. So that is why if there is repulsive force inside, there must be 3 electrons inside protons. There must be 3 electrons inside neutrons. This theory will bring the dead end of science and engineering. In 2012, they gave a Nobel Prize for the God particle, Higgs particle. And in 2015, I wrote an email and sent the paper to all of them. The result in Large Hadron Collider, what we are getting now, the result is nothing but electrons and muons. So it is highly impossible to break protons. Only you can break this repulsive force. The experiment must favor my theory. It will favor my theory in future. Already they have decided, already they announced that there is a possibility that Higgs is not an elementary particle at all. They will announce in a year or so that Higgs is an elementary particle or not. As soon as they announce it is not, definitely this will take over. The results what we got today only marry with this particular theory, because this theory, whatever happens with the repulsive force, are nothing but electrons and muons. Today we have the right experiment, but our understanding of the theory is completely wrong. So if you see here, you can see the down quark and up quark. Why I mentioned up quark as the God particle? Because up quark cannot be further divided, but the down quark can be further divided into 2. 2 up quarks are known as 1 down quark. So up quark must be the God particle, and Higgs boson, in a year or 2, they will declare that it is not an elementary particle at all. And see, if you see here, this is the results what we achieved from the Large Hadron Collider experiment. And my theory says only repulsive force can be broken down. If it's broken down, only you have to have electrons and muons. What they have done now, they have added all the elements with the energy, and they calculated the Higgs boson, 125 to 126 giga electron volts. For example, if I give you a football and a marble, which is smaller? Marble is smaller. God means, what is God? God is origin, right? Even scientists are trying to find what is the origin. They both are going in a different way. I give you a very simple example. Let us assume today there are 100,000 people in this earth. 50 years ago, what will be the population? It will be go down, isn't it? The population will be reduced, right? And 100 years ago, the population will be further reduced. And if you keep on going 1,000 years, at one stage we had one male and one female, right? At one stage when we had one male and one female, at that particular stage we had only one earth. When they had one God, why we have so many gods today? We all are brothers and sisters. Maybe we created nothing wrong. Every religion is true, good. If you are a Christian, be a true Christian and be above the religion. If you are a Muslim, be a true Muslim, be above the religion. If you are a Hindu, be a true Hindu and be above the religion. What do you mean by be above the religion is, you will understand, you will go beyond, you will understand that everyone are brothers and sisters, and we all have only one word and one world and one God. How I am telling that, for example, we have Independence Day, Republic Day, we salute the flag, isn't it? Do we really salute the flag? We are not saluting the flag. We are giving the respect to the motherland, India. Right? Actually, we are saluting the motherland. The flag is only a representation of land. Right? So same way, every God is nothing but a representation of space. Space is God. Every religion says God is anywhere, everywhere. Can you tell me a place where there is no space? Can you show me one place where there is no space? The way religion is very good to have religions, because then only we follow it. If you are a Hindu, be a true Hindu. If you are a Christian, be a true Christian. If you are Muslim, be a true Christian. And you have to understand. When I understood that there is one God, then I realized that everyone is my brothers and sisters. I see that way. Okay? I want you to follow that. You are the future of India. I don't know Hindi. When somebody talks Hindi, I can't understand. But I know only one line. May they'll say Hindustani. Look here, I put the Indian flag even though I'm an Australian. I want to relocate, come back to India. I love India. If my theory hits, I want to hit from India, not from Australia. So I will be relocating very soon. Even though there is good money there, even though the place is better, but the love is only in India. So next, if you see here, I gave a warning that there is a new physics towards 21st century. The whole physics theory is wrong, but all the experiments are 100% perfect. And climate change, which I've already explained, and I don't want to take more time in explaining this concept. If you have any questions, you can ask me, or already they gave. Please be louder. Can you give him a mic? Just wait for the mic, my friend. Look here, before that I make a statement. My knowledge is my size of the palm. What I don't know is the size of the universe. In case if you ask a question I am not able to understand, I will try to find the answer for you. Okay? You can ask me. Yes.
Sir, you said that the light is nothing but electron moving at a fast speed.
I told light is a repulsive force. So when the object is moving, the space is compressing the object. Due to the friction between that, the repulsive force is moving. When the repulsive force is towards near the object, the intensity will be more. It is electron. And when it extends, the intensity will be low. As distance increases, this is light. Electron and light are the same.
Sir, but the electrons cannot scatter, but the light scatters.
Pardon?
The electrons cannot scatter, but the light scatters.
No, it's not like that. Why electrons not scattering? Because why it is called electron? Because self-compressive force is compressing it. It keeps on rotating because it can't fight. Because the repulsive force is continuously generated, it rotates and it extends. When it extends, it becomes light. Can you stop the earth?
No, sir.
If you can't stop the earth, repulsive force is continuously generated. You cannot measure the same electron. It is highly impossible to measure the same electron because, look here, I will show you this picture. That is misunderstanding of the physics. That's why I'm telling whole physics is going to change. Look, this is quark. Towards the quark, the intensity will be very high. Away from the quark, the intensity will be low, and it merges with the space and again it becomes black, right? Once it is extending after certain distance, the intensity reduces and this becomes light. Light is electron and antineutrinos. Neutrinos all are nothing but repulsive force. All leptons are nothing but repulsive force. Any lepton you study, that is repulsive force. Only intensity changes. Electricity and magnetism are the same. When the intensity of the repulsive force more, it is magnetism. When the intensity reduces, it is electricity. First person to define how electricity is generated. We don't have any definition for electricity and magnetism so far. And this theory fit with, you can ask any question, for example, Big Bang. What happened? Today you watch a movie. When you watch a movie, it is 3 hours movie, and I already completed 1 hour. Remaining 2 hours is left. You all are joining me, right? So now what I have to do to make you understand the full movie? Either I have to stop and explain you what happened for 1 hour, or I have to rewind the movie, right? There are only two solutions. Either I have to stop, I have to explain you, then only we have to watch, or I can rewind the movie and we can start from the first. What happened? Galileo invented a telescope. His telescope was very small. Only he can view the planets. Then he magnified 30 times more. Then he was able to see thousands of stars. Then Hubble invented a better telescope where he can see the Milky Way. Do you think because the telescope was weaker and slowly they increased, do you think when Galileo invented the first telescope, do you think there was no Milky Way? For example, I am inventing a telescope where I can see only Lovely Professional University. Pallava Bagla sir is inventing another telescope, he can see all the state. And our Vice Chancellor sir is inventing the third telescope where he can see all India. Do you think India never existed before? So what they made, one person, George's Lemaitre, he thought if it's expanding, what would have happened yesterday? It becomes smaller, smaller, smaller. And he told there is a small point, this is called singularity, where time is 0 and space is 0, and it banged. And now Big Bang cannot give many answers. Now they're going for inflation theory. Universe is expanding at an acceleration rate. Universe is not expanding at all. I clearly concluded that only dark energy is expanding. And dark energy will not expand forever. It becomes 0, merges with the space. So I named the expansion of the universe as Veda Satyan.
So the space is expanding.
Space is not expanding. The quality of the space is infinite. It is boundaryless. It is compressing itself. The quality of the space is compressing. By its compressing itself, a tiny portion of the space is expelled.
Sir, how is that force that is compressing is coming?
It is compressing itself. That is the quality. For example, you are a student.
Sir, how you prove that decompressing
Why planets are moving in the same path? Why planets can't take other path? Tell me. Equal pressure in all directions equal to elliptical path. So far, Kepler gave the answer why planets are moving in elliptical path, but he didn't give why it is moving. By using the data, he predicted it is moving in the elliptical path. You can give force equally in all directions, 360-degree angle and direction. It will take only elliptical path. This is the reason for that.
Sir, so your theory is basically based on the elliptical path.
Not based upon elliptical path. Any mass will move only in elliptical path. Yes. Any mass in the universe will move only in the elliptical path. It will not take any circular motion at all.
Sir, so how the meteoroids that cross the elliptical parts of the various planets, they are not moving in the fixed path, the meteoroids?
We are moving in the same path. That is why we are taking 365.25 days every year.
Not the Earth. Meteoroids.
Pardon?
Meteoroids.
Can you be louder?
Meteoroids.
Okay, look, for example, we are sending satellite, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Satellite is moving. Once we push to the escape velocity, it will move. Do you think it is moving? Do you know engineers are pumping it often?
Yes.
It is reducing its, what do you mean? Its balance and it's coming down. Engineers are pumping it. See, why they are pumping it? Because the repulsive force is generated constantly. So, because of the compressive force Earth is created, we are doing an artificial satellite and sending. Because the repulsive force is there. the dark energy where you see. Only when the repulsive force becomes zero, you can see only dark matter. It has to go to that extent, and it has to get the pressure equally to come without coming down. Make sense? Now the people are pushing the satellites. They're pumping it. When the satellite is coming, our engineers are pumping to keep moving in the same path.
So you are saying that the dark matter is converted into dark energy.
Dark matter, the transformation of dark matter is dark energy. The transformation of self-compressive surrounding pressure force is repulsive force. The repulsive force and the volume occupied in the space by both self-compressive force and repulsive force is known as dark energy. Self-compressive force is everywhere. Repulsive force is not everywhere. You can't show me a place without self-compressive surrounding pressure force. Do you think it is a mass? The mass is nothing but a fraction. The mass is association of God particles. The God particles is nothing but a fraction of space. When it is moving, repulsive force is generated. When the repulsive force stops generating, when the planets stop moving. It is highly impossible for the planet to stop moving, because the quality of the space is self-compressive. It cannot be changed. And it is highly impossible to conduct an experiment to measure the self-compressive force. The only possible way, with all the experiments what we have, this theory suits very well.
So according to that, the space is compressing. So according to your theory, how are the black holes are forming?
According to my theory, I will tell you. Look, if I am standing in the middle and people are pushing, I will be expelling, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And the spaces keep on compressing. When I keep on expelling, what will happen? There are many small particles, right? And again the space is compressing them to make a mass, to object. So when it's compressing, when the particles are expelled, you will find a hole that is known as a white hole. In another simple way, if I tell, go to your house, fill the sink with water, okay? Fill the water and take the cover after filling the water. You can see the water is flowing through the pipe, isn't it?
So, sir, according to that, sir, the force of the black hole should be greater than the force of the space contracting.
That is, like, depends. The black hole is depend upon the how many particles are generated, how many God particles are generated. If there are more particles generated, black hole will be more. If there are less particles generated, the black hole will be less. After, when the space is compressing and making an object, black hole erases. Simple way I am telling you. Measure take the knob and see the water is flowing in the pipe, isn't it?
Yes.
That means the water is expelling out, and you can see a hole at the top. Whenever the water is expelling out, that hole is known as white hole. You can see there a black hole. You can go and test today, and the length connecting that both is known as wormhole. A big dead star never dies, because mass is nothing but association of energy particles. I asked you a question. When the space is compressing, which will be squeezed early? Because every mass is nothing but association of God particles. A God particle cannot be squeezed. A God particle definition is with a particle which can withstand the pressure of the space and cannot be further divided. If anything cannot be further divided and which can withstand the pressure of the space, that is known as God particle. The
Sir,
space.
Sir, coming to the question that the definition of God particle, the definition of God particle, you have proved it, or you have created the definition on your theory?
The upquark is the God particle. This is the smallest, which cannot be destroyed and which
Sir,
cannot be further divided.
According to the theory of previous scientists, they said the electron is the smallest particle, but they found quarks. So in future, the quarks can be divided.
It is highly impossible. Now the scientists have declared that cannot be, currently nothing can be further divided than upquark.
So I think it's time to move towards the next session. Time doesn't allow us.
Thank you very much for everyone.
We thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this remarkable insight. Right, we all have really learned a lot from your speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. If I made any mistake, kindly apologize. My knowledge is very small. If I bored you, I'm very sorry. Thank you.